Hello friends, welcome to a new video on AWS AI Practitioner series. So today I will start with a uh, thing that I got many questions from viewers that I am telling multiple times this term training data set, validation data set, test data set, but I haven't explained what is this, what are these things. So first try to start with this. What is training data set? So training data set, by the name you can understand this is used for training the model. So from which the model will learn the patterns, right? So typically the entire size of the model, it will consist the 60 to 80%. So suppose you have in your LLM model, just suppose a stability AI kind of model, you have created a model where you have uploaded 1,000 images. So on that 1,000 image data set, you will have 800 images from the training set. And then what is validation set? It is mainly used to tune the hyperparameters. Hyperparameters, if you remember my last class, that what are the hyperparameters? Batch size, epoch, learning rate, regularization. Those are the hyperparameters. So which you will train here and check the performance during your training. That is called validation data set or validation set. And typically out of 1,000 images, you will have 100 images of validation set, by which the benchmark data set we have used, that this is called the pre-benchmark data set, by which you will do this validation training or validation testing. So, and another is this test set, that is the evaluate the final model accuracy. So till staging environment, that you will test it, your model, that how it is performing. So if the final model accuracy that you need to evaluate, that you will do it with test set, which is, suppose you will upload a completely new image, which will be the behavior in production. That is called test set. So suppose 1,000 images maximum, it can be 100 images. I hope that you understand now this terminology: training set, validation set, test set. Yeah. So I didn't cover this separately, just to cover here. Now going back to SageMaker, those services which are very important, and we will do the deep dive now. So what is SageMaker Data Wrangler? I believe we, from the all software engineering background, we have done this already, not specifically for the machine learning part or this Gen AI LLM part, but in our life, normally, suppose we get the 5,000 rows in an Excel, and we need to send the data to some other people. What we used to do, we used to manipulate the data, we used to color coding, change the data, prepare a table from that. We used to do, suppose it has the only the date, we used to convert it. Suppose we need to send the age of the people. So instead of giving the uh, date, we can just calculate from just with a formula, that current date minus the date mentioned in the Excel, and we will get the age of the people. We can mention it. That is specifically what we are doing. We are transforming the data. And just the example I gave, that changing the date format and making to age, that is called actually feature engineering. And what we are in an Excel, what we are doing, we are manipulating the data, we are making the data more beautiful, preparing the data, so our managers or whoever you are sending it to, they will understand. Here the same thing, just think, we are doing in Amazon SageMaker Studio. It's fully managed integrated environment, ID, any kind of that. If you are using Visual Studio kind of thing, in AWS we are using SageMaker Studio, same thing. So with just a few clicks, we can connect to multiple data sources. It can be S3, it can be any other thing, and we can explore the visualize the data. And here mainly what we can do, we can apply any transformation we want. We can export our code to other script, or any other format, and we can run it in our managed infrastructure. So what are the things mainly we do? We can do prepare tabular or image data for machine learning, data preparation, transformation, feature engineering in minutes. If you are familiarizing with the term ETL, this is the ETL for uh, machine learning. So what the data wrangler does, it's actually provides a single interface where we can do data selection, cleansing, exploration and visualization and processing. It can support SQL also for advanced queries. It has a data quality tool to detect anomalies or ensure clean data sets. So for exam perspective, what you need to understand, the data wrangler is a service which reduces the prep time from weeks to minutes and integrates seamlessly into ML workflows. Okay. Now, little bit deep dive on data wrangler, how it looks actually. So if you see, it is in the SageMaker Studio, you can get this kind of view where you can apply this build and train, deploy and monitor. So, and if you want to build the models automatically, import or prepare data. So all these things you can do here. Let me show you one example in the AWS community also you will get this. So how it does, I will provide this link in the comment section or in the video. I will show you here. If you see the step by step, they are showing how you can import the data, then how it will look, then if you need to do any kind of specific kind of manipulation, that also you can do. So what are the configuration types and all those things are explained. Ultimately the analysis will come. So if you want to upload any CSV, if you want to manipulate, do some feature engineering, all those things, it can be done here. Okay. So I believe you understand now this data wrangler, what it can do. Now now we can go to SageMaker Clarify. Clarify, this is a very important SageMaker service. You can get 3 to 4 questions. So in the exam, so we have built the model. Now we need to build the trust, right, in these AI models, how it can do. So from AWS perspective, what it does, we will create the model, then Clarify, will use SageMaker Clarify. It will give us the bias or explainability metrics. We can have a human review. Then finally, we'll get a trusted output. This is the main workflow. If you see that model, we build a model, then we will use SageMaker Clarify. It will give us the bias or explainability metrics. We'll have another kind of review, third eye check, human review. Finally, we'll get a trusted output. So the thing is, with SageMaker, if you now talk in a more detailed way, the main feature is it evaluates the foundation model. We can test the large model for accuracy, robustness, and fairness. So if you want to, if any of your question asks that we need to check the model is trustworthy or not, then it is going for the SageMaker Clarify. It is asking. If you have human factor evaluation, so suppose we need to assess the quality like friendliness, humor, toxicity. So if your AI is actually sounding natural or safe, don't be confused with augmented AI or ground truth here. So they are asking human means human factor. Always does we blindly don't go for ground truth or augmented AI, which I discussed in my last session. But just think what it is asking. Human review option, it use say AWS managed workforce or your own team. So human in the loop for sensitive tasks. So data sets, it is built in or bring your own. You can have your own data sets. Matrix or algorithm, obviously bias detection, explainability, all these things are involved in Clarify. So, and integration, it is part of also the SageMaker Studio. We have one interface which can give the training, evaluation, everything. So now little bit more that with SageMaker, what it can do. So bias detection and explainability, I told you. So the main thing, whenever in the exam or in any kind of where you are building the LLM, so if this bias detection and explainability, it's a very important topic in any LLM. So it with help of SageMaker Clarify, we can detect and explain the bias in the dataset or the model, measure the bias. There are few statistical metrics I already explained in, if any of you doesn't know, please go to please go and check our previous videos. There is automatic detection. SageMaker Clarify has this feature. Try to remember this. It can automatically detect once you specify any input features. This automatic detection other uh, services does not have. So bias detection is a very important feature, and SageMaker Clarify provide this. And all these things are integrated in a SageMaker Studio, which can provide us the end-to-end ML workflows. Suppose there can be multiple bias. Just I'm giving an example, sampling bias. So suppose your training data does not represent the full population properly or fairly. Some groups are uh, over or under represented. It can be with you can just think an example that in your specific training group you have 8 boys and 2 girls. Obviously it is your class is not well equipped. It's a bias kind of thing where more boys are there. So you can think about in AI, in LLM, that your training data has a wrong sample. So obviously it will give a wrong conclusions, right? That is the sampling bias. Measurement bias. Suppose your data collection tools or measurement are flawed or skewed. Obviously, you have a if you have a faulty ruler, it will give you a faulty results, right? So measurement is a very um, unique thing and which you cannot change this way. Observer bias, human collectors or annotators let personal views affected data. So this kind of thing happens. So suppose you have human in the loop, and you have the specific human putting some putting his personal view, suppose some political view or gender biasness, those kind of thing, if they put it in the model, that will obviously cause observer bias, and it will your model will not behave properly. Another is confirmation bias, favoring information that supports pre-existing beliefs, more human decision making than ML. So this kind of pre-existing belief is also a bias that is called confirmation bias. So whatever the human think or their upbringing is, if they put that knowledge or that thought process in the model, that will be confirmation bias. So all this kind of bias can be detected by SageMaker Clarify. And this is a very, very important service in AWS. So if you now see this image, it is showing that it is a class imbalance. It is showing positive proportions in labels, and another is KL, pullback labeler divergence. I will not go into detail of what are these things, but these are the parameters by which the bias can be detected with SageMaker Clarify. So there are few links I will provide in the video and in the description. Just go through this, you will get more knowledge in that. Now, question 1. A company wants to build an ML model by using Amazon SageMaker. The company needs to share and manage variables for model development across multiple teams. Which SageMaker feature meets this requirement? Amazon SageMaker Feature Store, Amazon SageMaker Data Wrangler, Amazon SageMaker Clarify, Amazon SageMaker Model Cards. So just think what I told already, that here it is trying to share and manage variables. Obviously, this means we need to somewhere store these things, right? If it is storing some data or this kind of things are asked in the question, oh, you should think about SageMaker Feature Store. Question 2, a company has installed a security camera. The company uses an ML model to evaluate the security camera footage for potential thefts. The company has discovered that the model disproportionately flags people who are members of a specific ethnic group. This was I was discussing few minutes back. Which type of bias is affecting the model output? It's a measurement bias, it's a sampling bias, it's an observer bias, it's a confirmation bias. So here it is showing disproportionately flags, means the proportion is not correct. So like I was giving the example, in a class out of 10, 8 are boys, 2 are girls. Obviously the proportion is not correct. So you can think this is a sampling bias. Question 3, a loan company is building a generative AI based solution to offer new applicants discounts based on specific business criteria. The company wants to build and use an AI model responsibly to minimize bias that could negatively affect some customers. Which actions should the company take to meet these requirements? Choose two. A, detect imbalance or disparities in the data. B, ensure the model runs frequently. C, evaluate the model's behavior so that the company can provide transparency to stakeholders. Use the recall oriented understudy for gisting uh, evaluation or rogue uh, technique to ensure the model is 100% accurate. E, ensure the model's inference time is within the accepted limits. I believe I have discussed this a long back, but if you understand this, obviously this question it is saying the company wants to build and use a model responsibly to minimize bias. Obviously, minimize bias. The first option A will be obviously there. We need to detect imbalance or disparities in the data. So that is one for sure. But what will be the second one? Ensure the model runs frequently. I don't think that can be a good option. Evaluate the model's behavior so that company can provide transparency to stakeholders. It can be done, but it will take some time and human intervention or some kind of algorithm or the services needs to be applied or used. Ensure the model's inference time is within the accepted limit. So both are C and E are actually a one option, and this is a new criteria needs to be added, or there are good amount of time is needed to do these things. So it's better to use rogue technique to ensure the model is 100% accurate, but it will not happen here actually. With rogue, it cannot ensure 100% accurate. So in that case, it will be better. So this kind of situation you will get where with rogue, you cannot obviously 100% accuracy cannot be guaranteed. So all the four options are not perfect apart from A. So in out of four, maybe the C option C, this is actually giving a more sense. So we will go with option A and C. So evaluate the model's behavior so that the company can provide transparency to stakeholders. Obviously, with option A, we will detect the imbalances. Then we'll model the model's behavior. We'll evaluate with that and transparency to stakeholders. So it's better. Question 4, a medical company deployed a disease detection model on Amazon Bedrock to comply with privacy policies. The company wants to prevent the model from including personal patient information in its responses. The company also wants to receive notification when policy violation occurs. Which solution meets this requirement? This question is pretty simple. So it's a patient information, it's a PII data, personal identifiable information. So this is asking to redact that, and obviously we need to send a notification. So let's see. Use Amazon Macy's to scan the model's output for sensitive data and set up alerts for potential violation. So this can be, but it cannot send the notification, and it it can identify the sensitive data, but it cannot redact. Configure AWS CloudTrail to monitor models responses and create alerts for any detected personal information. CloudTrail is for APIs monitoring or APIs log, so we will not go with this. Use guardrails for Amazon Bedrock to filter content. Set up Amazon CloudWatch alarms for notification of policy violations. It is actually the feature of Amazon guardrail or Bedrock guardrail to filter content or redact this PII data, and CloudWatch is obviously now we can send the notification. So it is actually a best fit. Now still CD, implement SageMaker Model Monitor to detect the data drift and receive alerts when model quality degrades. No, it is a model monitor. I will discuss in my next video when I will discuss the governance, that model governance. But model monitors, it is not asking for the data drift. It is asking for the prevent the model from including personal patient information. Means we need to redact the first identify the PII and then redact. So it cannot do it with, it cannot go with a model monitor. So answer should be option C. I hope you understood this. So thank you. So we'll discuss about the AI governance in our next video. Thank you for joining the video. See you in our next class.